This is a story of parental abuse in the guise of discipline.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Hotspot with Loveth and Favor, your ultimate destination for the juiciest gossip, exclusive movie insights, and the latest celebrity updates. Subscribe now.
Ogechi was the eldest among 4 siblings, raised in the impoverished streets of the ghetto, where their family struggled to make ends meet. Despite their humble economic status, one thing that Ogechi and her siblings were never deprived of was a quality education. This was thanks to their mother's unwavering dedication to ensuring that her children received the best education possible, even amidst their challenging circumstances. However, Ogechi and her siblings were deprived of a nurturing environment filled with love. Ogechi's father, in particular, was excessively strict and overbearing, creating a toxic atmosphere within the family. Instead of correcting them with care and compassion when they made mistakes, she and her siblings were subjected to harsh criticism and belittlement from her parents. From a young age, Ogechi endured constant name-calling, unfavorable comparisons to other children, and a lack of appreciation for her efforts. Her parents consistently undermined her self-worth by unfavorably comparing her to cousins, friends, and even strangers passing by on the street, exacerbating her feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness. The environment Ogechi grew up in was so poisonous that she developed no affection for her father, whose approach to parenting was consistently toxic. While her mother was somewhat less severe, she never intervened to address her husband's behavior. Both parents believed they were acting in Ogechi's best interest by providing strict discipline and training. Upon entering secondary school, which comprised both day and boarding students, Ogechi observed the affectionate relationships some of her peers had with their parents. One important moment was witnessing her classmate Damilola embrace her father with enthusiasm when he visited, and in return he hugged her tightly and showered her with affectionate gestures. To Ogechi, this experience was very much unfamiliar to her and peculiar, as she had never encountered such displays of parental love before. Witnessing other parents interact with their children in a loving and gentle manner only deepened Ogechi's yearning for the warmth of affection in her own home, yet it remained an unattainable dream. As Ogechi matured, her relationship with her parents further deteriorated, causing her to drift even further from them. Her father's verbal abuse knew no bounds, as he would publicly humiliate her with derogatory name-calling, whether they were in the streets, market, school, or church, all under the guise of discipline. Each morning, Ogechi would be woken up from sleep at 5 a.m. by the sting of a cane and a barrage of insults. Growing up in such hostile environments was a dark and bitter experience, one that only intensified as she got older. Seeking refuge from her parents' cruelty, Ogechi found solace in the companionship of a neighbor, Auntie Nello, who became a source of comfort during her tumultuous upbringing. Spending most of her time with Auntie Nello after school, Ogechi gradually distanced herself from her own family, despising the thought of being in their presence. Auntie Nello served as a pillar of support, offering words of encouragement and reassurance that Ogechi's situation would improve with time. She reminded Ogechi that her parents, despite their misguided actions, were simply trying to guide her, although in the wrong manner. Growing up, Ogechi's self-esteem was deeply wounded by her parents' treatment. During the time Ogechi had academic struggles in the early years of her junior secondary school, her parents were quick to broadcast her perceived shortcomings to anyone who would listen, especially their extended family. Even after Ogechi's academic performance improved significantly during her junior secondary years, becoming one of the top students in her class until she completed secondary school, her mother continued to undermine her achievement by falsely portraying her as a poor performer to relatives. This led Ogechi's cousins to view her with disdain, further exacerbating her fragile self-esteem. The constant belittlement from her family took a toll on Ogechi, affecting her confidence and self-worth. It wasn't until she graduated from the university with an excellent academic record that her extended family began to see her in a different light. Surprised at her academic achievements, they reluctantly acknowledged her capabilities, making comments like, "So you're actually good." To which Ogechi definitely responded, "I have always been very capable." Despite the challenges of her upbringing, Ogechi's spirit remained unyielding. She immersed herself in her studies, seeking refuge in the world of books and learning. However, as time went on, an unspoken longing tugged at her heart, a deep desire for something beyond what she could articulate. During her time as an undergraduate, Ogechi crossed paths with Ethan, a man older than she with quite a number of years, who embodied everything she had yearned for: warmth, kindness, and abundant love. Ethan's affection was a revelation to Ogechi, unlike anything that she had ever known or felt before. Their connection was immediate and profound, like finding the missing piece of a puzzle. Meeting Ethan during her first year at the university marked the beginning of a period where Ogechi finally experienced the embrace of love and gentle correction. Ethan not only became her romantic partner, but also filled the role of the older brother she never had, offering paternal guidance and correction with tenderness whenever necessary. Ogechi cherished Ethan's love deeply, striving to always be deserving of his affection. By Ogechi's third year of university, Ethan expressed his readiness to settle down despite the significant age gap between them. Ogechi being 18 and Ethan 35 at the time. Ethan disclosed to Ogechi that he knew she was 16 when they first met, which was why he waited until she turned 18 before broaching the topic of marriage to her. Although Ogechi pleaded with Ethan to wait until she was at least 20 and had completed her studies, Ethan felt unable to delay any longer, having already waited for 3 years. He ultimately decided to pursue marriage with another woman, leading to their separation. Upon Ogechi's graduation and return home, she was met with the harsh reality that her parents had not changed their behavior despite her academic achievement. She had hoped that earning a degree would earn her some level of respect, but instead, her parents' treatment towards her worsened. Even Antonello was taken aback by Ogechi's father's lack of acknowledgement of her graduation. He continued to impose strict restrictions on her movements, refusing to recognize her newfound status as a graduate. The situation reached its peak when Ogechi's father publicly humiliated her by emerging onto the street with a belt one night with the intention of disciplining her for being outside for so long with a childhood friend who was excited about her return from school. In front of the shocked bystanders on the bustling street, Ogechi was subjected to being whipped with a belt and then sent back home as if she were a mere child. The appalling behavior of Ogechi's father left everyone who witnessed the scene stunned and disheartened. In addition to his physical aggression, Ogechi's father would unleash a barrage of demeaning insults towards her, including calling her a prostitute, even in moments of unprovoked anger. The verbal abuse Ogechi endured was deeply distressing. Throughout this ordeal, Antonello remained a source of comfort, urging Ogechi to endure this mistreatment. When Ogechi expressed her intention to return to school to complete her clearance and begin the process for the National Youth Service Corps, her father, who had never attended a university himself, accused her of wanting to go back to school to engage in promiscuous behavior. He threatened her, forbidding her from leaving the house for clearance purposes, and labeled her a prostitute. Shockingly, Ogechi's mother remained passive throughout the ordeal. Despite Ogechi's attempt to explain that she needed to complete her final clearance, her father insisted that she was finished with her education and had no reason to return to school. Ogechi ignored his words, packed her bags, and was ready to go back to school for her clearance, whether her father liked it or not. Faced with her father's unreasonable demands and verbal abuse, Ogechi made a vow that if she encountered similar behavior upon her return from NYSC, she would rebel against her father's tyranny. During her service year, Ogechi discovered love once again, a language she had previously learned with Ethan during her undergraduate days. This time, it was with Donald, who showered her with genuine affection and sweetness. After completing her service, Ogechi returned to Lagos, leaving Donald behind, and thus began their journey of maintaining a long-distance relationship. Upon returning to Lagos, Ogechi found herself confronted once again by her insensitive parents, who showed no willingness to acknowledge their faults and change their behavior. Despite now being a graduate, having completed her service, and being employed, Ogechi continued to face physical abuse from her father whenever she expressed contrary opinions or attempted to correct her parents whenever they defaulted. The public humiliation of being struck by her father outside in the presence of others persisted, pushing Ogechi to her breaking point. One day, Ogechi decided she had had enough. She mustered the courage to stand up to her father, raising her voice in her defense. This marked a turning point for Ogechi as she refused to tolerate her father's abuse any longer. Instead of complying with his demands, she began speaking up for herself and asserting her independence, regardless of his expectations. Rather than recognizing the role their own behavior played in pushing Ogechi to this point, her parents labeled her as ungrateful and disrespectful, attributing her newfound assertiveness to the formal education they provided her. However, Ogechi was undeterred by their accusations. She had reached her limit and was determined to live life on her own terms. As tensions escalated, Ogechi's father's behavior grew even more hostile, resorting to making threatening remarks, including promises to sabotage any potential suitors interested in marrying her. Despite these threats, Ogechi remained steadfast in her resolve to break free from the cycle of abuse and assert her independence. The toxic environment at home intensified to the point where Ogechi regretted returning from the service she had gone for. Unable to bear the burden alone, she confided in Donald, sharing the details of her ordeal. Her disdain for her home life deepened, particularly her growing resentment towards her father. In an effort to avoid confrontation with him, Ogechi resorted to staying late at work, preferring solitude of her workplace to the toxicity of her home environment. Ogechi longed for a life free from the toxicity of her family. She yearned to marry soon and escape the confines of her home. However, her current salary was insufficient to afford a separate apartment, and she was also saving up to pursue her master's degree. Despite the ongoing cycle of toxicity in her family, Ogechi took comfort in the courage she summoned to stand up for herself against her parents. However, her relationship with Donald came to an end after 2 years due to his ongoing struggle to find a direction and establish himself. Despite Ogechi's patience, Donald continued to offer excuses rather than making progress in terms of finding a job and earning an income. Ogechi had numerous suitors vying for her attention, but she was adamant about avoiding a partner who mirrored the toxic traits of her father. Instead, she yearned for a kind and gentle man who would reciprocate her love. She was determined to shield her future children from the hardships she endured and desired a family with whom she could share open communication and trust. The dysfunction within Ogechi's family created an environment where she felt unable to share anything with her parents. Even her mother, who unquestionably supported her father's every action. Their relationship lacked the nurturing and intimate conversations typical of a mother-daughter bond, as her mother would often disclose Ogechi's confidences to her husband. Additionally, Ogechi found her mother's communication style lacking in empathy and understanding, further dissuading her from confiding in her. Instead, Ogechi sought comfort in confiding in her aunts, who provided her with the supportive and understanding environment she needed. As Ogechi progressed in life, she made a conscious decision to release herself from the toxic traits of her parents and fulfill her duties as a daughter. Despite her limited income, she endeavored to provide for her parents when necessary and desired to give them the best life possible. However, her efforts were not recognized. She kept being met with unappreciative remarks at the slightest provocation, including hurtful statements like, "You're the most useless child a parent could ever have." This deeply wounded Ogechi, especially since she had one time used her savings to support her brother's education when the family was having serious financial struggles. Ogechi, irrespective, continued to financially support her parents with her earnings when necessary, often sacrificing her own desires to ensure their well-being. Yet, despite her generosity, their ingratitude persisted. It became evident to Ogechi that her parents would not change as they failed to recognize the wrong in their terrible attitude and the harm caused by their toxic upbringing. After enduring years of her parents' toxic behavior, Ogechi finally encountered the love she had been longing for when Noble entered her life. With Noble by her side, Ogechi experienced a profound transformation as her capacity to love expanded. His steadfast devotion fueled her growth, and she gradually learned to embrace vulnerability and trust in their relationship. Together, they cultivated a bond that was unbreakable, founded in mutual understanding and acceptance. Noble's love shone brightest in her darkest hour, a beacon of hope guiding her through the storm. Through tears and laughter, trials and triumphs, Ogechi discovered the true essence of love. It was not always easy, nor was it perfect, but it was real. It was sometimes messy and beautiful at the same time. Flawed, yet infinitely precious. And so, the girl who never knew love growing up grew into a woman who understood its power. With Noble by her side, she embarked on a journey of healing and growth, forever grateful for the love that had transformed her life. For in the end, it was that love that saved her, teaching her that even the most broken and bruised hearts can find their way home. Hope you enjoyed the story and learned a lot of lessons from it. Thanks for clicking to watch. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell so that you would not miss any of our future uploads. Your support means the world to us, so please like and share our videos, and do not hesitate to leave your thoughts and feedback in the comment section. Together, let us continue to grow and foster a vibrant community around our shared passion for film and entertainment. Thank you all for your continued support. See you all in the next episode.